Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Ralph. Welcome back to another edition of Key by the Numbers. And instead of a number today, we are going to have a word, right? And our word today is fruits. And we are in 21258, which is fire. And because the procedure of fire is so tremendous, it's so huge, right? We're only going to look at what the desk officer does. And why are we going to look at what the desk officer does? Because what the desk officer does is unusual in your mind. When you think of a fire, you're out on patrol, something's on fire, the cop goes, notifies the patrol supervisor, FD's going, and you say, well, what does the desk officer do there, if anything? Well, the desk officer only has 2 steps. And the word fruits is an acronym that John has developed to tell you when the desk officer notifies the borough and operations. So desk officer, 2 steps. If the fruits are burning, notify operations and the borough, and then review any complaint reports or ADA reports. I don't think you're going to forget that. Okay, so when does the desk officer notify operations in the borough? Forced entry by FD, relocation of tenants, unusual fire, injury or death, 3 alarms or more, or a suspicious fire. Now, because this is such a short list, and that's all we're going to do today, you have to try to think the way exam writers are going to think. Now, when you're studying, you get down to fire, you get down to desk officer, you're like, okay, 2 steps and the list, I remembered it. Now I've studied and I'm happy because I've done my job and let's move on. That's not good enough. You have to try to think the way exam writers think. Now, of that list, where the fruits are burning, when the desk officer notifies operations in the borough, let's look at stuff that can be corrupted. Now, you remember the 2 places that the desk officer calls, operations in the borough. That's easy. That's easy. You're not going to forget that. So the list, forced entry by FD, relocation of tenants, unusual fire, injury or death, 3 alarms or more, or suspicious fire. You've heard George say before, and I've said before, generally speaking in procedures, when they use the word unusual, exam writers sort of stay away from that because it's highly subjective. It doesn't mean they won't go to it. It means generally they don't, because what's unusual to you might not be unusual to somebody else. So the high nature of subjectivity of that word is not a bright line rule, and they like to test bright line rules. So let's look at that list. There's things that you're not going to mess up. You're not going to mess it up. In the body of the question, FD cracks a door open. Okay, boom, you remember that. Relocation of tenants, you're not going to forget that. But they might be able to slip by you is injury or death. Death, no, you're going to remember that. But in injury, the way they're going to do that is they're going to formulate the body of the question in such a small fire with hardly anything going on, only one engine came, and they're going to make it seem like it's no big deal, but then a fireman went to the hospital. That's it. That's it. If a fireman goes to the hospital, that suffices as injury. Then the desk officer must call operations and the borough. So the way they do it is they take one of the bright line rules and they're going to really dumb it down so that it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Okay? And you're going to be questioning, well, is it a fireman or a civilian? The procedure doesn't say. It just says injury or death. Now, none of us are going to forget about death. Somebody dies in a fire? Yeah, by all means, desk officer call operations and the borough, right? But they're going to give you a non-civilian, like maybe your partner got injured walking up the stairs, or a fireman got a splinter on the door frame and went to the hospital for a splinter. And this is the kind of stuff that you have to think of, because that is going to trigger the desk officer's notification to operations and the borough. Okay, so I don't need to go on and on with this. I was just trying to give you an insight about the way exam writers think. Just knowing the list is not enough. It's not enough. You have to try to think the way they think. Okay, that's going to be it for this week's Key by the Numbers, or Keyword by the Numbers, I guess, this week. Make sure you pound the like button and like this video. We got to get some likes on the videos, especially because it's for my fragile ego. And then share this video with your friends. The Key always has new material coming out for you. Okay, until we see you again next time, remember that preparation is the key. Peace.